All right, here is your 4.4 for pre-calculus class, video number 4, I think. I've done 3 videos for this unit. So this one is a little bit lengthy, but it's okay. You have to write the 5 functions on the 5 trig functions, which are the sine, or the cosine. You had the sine, so you're going to get cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant, and the cotangent. So those are the 5 terms. So that's your job, okay? So our job is to finish writing all these other functions. So this might get a bit long. So tangent, our theta, that's tangent. It's hard to write with this pen. Secant, cosecant, what did I put cosine? Cosecant, and a cotangent, all right, of the same angle theta. Okay, so you got cosine here. Now this condition here has everything on that line in the first round. The question has its own meaning. You just have to figure out what's going on. The theta is in the first quadrant, so the best way to do this problem for me, to draw your quadrant and follow this by saying it's in the first quadrant. So just draw a line out like that, like a triangle in a right triangle in the first quadrant. Put your theta in there. Okay, now the sine, so we're done with this. We don't need this information anymore. You can just put that aside. Okay, I'm gonna drag this up. I don't need that information anymore. I'm good with that. So now the next one is, what is the 4 and 5? So those numbers have its own place in a triangle. Now if you remember, sine is the y, or the opposite of the angle theta, divided by the hypotenuse. So basically that's what that is. Okay, you can just say opposite hypotenuse for the y. So now if this is your angle theta, your opposite now should be this side, which is your 4. And the hypotenuse is 5. Simple as that, okay? So now what you need is you need to find this length right here. Easy for that one. Really easy. You just have to deal with the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That is your Pythagorean theorem. So you just have to go through with that square, just kind of slowly and work through it. Some people still have mistakes on this. So this is your b or a. It does not make a difference. So I'm going to go 4 squared plus b squared. And the c must be the hypotenuse. So 5 squared. So this is my 16. Now I'm going to subtract 16 from the 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, so I'm looking at 25 minus 16, which is, what's 25 minus 16? 9, right? Then you root the 9. When you root the 9, it should be positive or negative 3, right? Now let me briefly talk about that positive negative 3. Had that question was saying a theta, okay, if they were saying theta is in the second quadrant, this number, since you're going to be drawing this triangle, this would be negative 3 and a 4, 5. But it says in the first quadrant, there is a positive 3, 4, 5. That's why you have to get the square root. Every time you get the square root, you get your the plus and a minus sign. Okay, you can pause the video at that point if you want to. I don't need this second quadrant triangle. I just need the first quadrant triangle. So I did all that to find out what that 3 was. Some people will scream at me. It's like, you should know that is 3, 4, 5. Yes, I hear you. All right, so here we go. So the cosine, okay, this answer is already in this triangle. Cosine is adjacent hypotenuse, so 3 on 5, the end. A tangent is opposite hypotenuse, so there we go. Opposite adjacent, I'm sorry, not hypotenuse. So opposite adjacent. Secant, well, secant is the opposite of a cosine. So best way to do it is like to relate these two together. Because you don't want to well, you can rewrite it, but it's okay to just flip it. So secant is the flip of a cosine. So if you look at this here, so when I think about secant, get the answer from the cosine and flip it. This is supposed to be CSC, so cosecant. Cosecant is the flip of a sine. I could have done that a long time ago, but it doesn't hurt to do it now. And that's it. All right, just flip your sine fraction. Hypotenuse is on top, opposites in the bottom. Cotangent, again, that's a flip on the tangent. So 4, 3 now becomes 3, 4. That's all you got to do. All right? I'll see you guys in the next round.